probably the strangest treated franchise in Nintendo's mighty tool belt of properties, as releases tended to either be hit or miss experimental titles or the same game as last time, but this time Kirby pilots a mech. There rarely tends to be any kind of middle ground, so when anyone touches Kirby with any sense of forward progression, the goddamn angels sing as the gates of heaven swing open to deliver us something special. Or something mediocre. Hey, it can happen. This all brings us to the Pink Puffball's newest adventure, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, brought to us by the fine folks at HAL Laboratory. Now, this game not only stands out because it's a new Kirby game, it also happens to be a 3D Kirby game. Well, color me surprised. Seriously, I was just about gave up hope that a game like this would ever exist, and here it is, gracing my Switch, and now I am doing a review of it. Now, this is obviously not Kirby's first time being polygonal. No duh, he does have another game on Switch after all, but this is Kirby's first game in any kind of true 3D. The big question, of course, is does Kirby's chill and mellow gameplay style hold up in a 3D space? Kirby is known for his copy abilities and his ability to float indefinitely. How would these translate to the third dimension? Well, let's learn from Kirby and take a suck and find out, huh? Did I even say anything there that makes sense of any kind, or was it all just to be lewd? It seems even Kirby isn't immune to being vacuumed up, as that is exactly what happens here. Kirby was just minding his business on Planet Popstar when some dark vortex decided to mess things up. It starts sucking things up, including Kirby, and a whole lot of Waddle Dees, and transports them to a place with a very creative name, the New World. A place that looks like Splatoon happened, but without the squids and kids. Instead, the Waddle Dees are bullied by a group of beasts known as the Beast Pack, another creative name, and kidnapped once they start to settle down in their new home. Then, Kirby shows up and starts to clobber and eat the Beast Pack in order to save his friends. Although I thought Waddle Dees were enemies. To be quite honest, I'm not as familiar with more recent Kirby games as I should be. It's obviously in this new world that Kirby's adventure takes place, a world that looks suspiciously like ours if David Cage took over and caused us to all hide underground out of fear of some sort of weird AI aliens. In other words, it's abandoned. While abandoned modern cities are not uncommon in video games, none of those have Kirby in them. This sets the stage for a rather unique Kirby game, without even taking the 3D into consideration, as all the traditional video game fantasy sights and sounds, such as lava and snow worlds, are all built into modern day cityscapes. Some might call it repetitive seeing so much city, but I call it a nice swerve on the same tired traditions Kirby tends to be locked into. As if it wasn't beaten over your head already by me mentioning a bunch, or you visually seeing it on the screen right now, but Kirby in the Forgotten Land is 3D. It's okay, it's fine. You can put the torches down and hyperventilate in your nearest Kirby-shaped paper bag, as Kirby makes a jump to 3D effortlessly. Besides, it's not even fully 3D like, say, Mario Odyssey or Banjo-Kazooie. It's actually Kirby's take on Super Mario 3D World, where it plays from a nearly top-down view. Here, Kirby has his usual range of abilities such as jumping, inhaling, and copying, and it all feels great here. Of course, he can still float freely, though he can't get much height, keeping him a bit higher than the height of a jump. You can get higher if you float from higher, but it's actually a smart way of handling Kirby's most overpowered platforming skill. Thankfully, it all translates incredibly well, and is probably some of the most fun I've had in a platformer in a long time. And I've played a lot of platformers. The levels are designed smartly with these abilities in mind. Stages are built to take advantage of this new dimension, with secrets hidden in places you wouldn't expect, and each level has multiple hidden goals to complete. Each goal rewards you with a captured Waddle Dee, and there are multiple Waddle Dees scattered about as collectibles. Finding and rescuing Waddle Dees not only gives you the sweet satisfaction of seeing the percentage on your game file go up, it also causes Waddle Dee Town to grow. The more Waddle Dees you save, the more things are available there, such as a coliseum, a weapon shop, and a cafeteria. Seeing the town grow is almost as satisfying as playing the game itself, so it is worth it to save as many of the little guys as possible. Overall, the stages are well designed, fun, and take advantage of Kirby's unique abilities incredibly well. Of course, what would Kirby be without copy abilities, and this game sure has some copy abilities. The copy abilities on display are nothing too special or crazy, but you do have the opportunity to evolve them using coins and rare stones that are earned via typical gameplay in regards to star coins, and the treasure road challenges in regards to rare stones. Evolving a copy ability significantly upgrades it, making it not only stronger, but also giving it new functions, such as the ability to hold and charge a cutter before returning it to you, causing massive damage. As mentioned, they didn't get exceptionally risky with the copy abilities, with sword, cutter, and bomb being present among others, but they are still fun to use, and the 3D gameplay changes enough that even having simple, common copy abilities isn't too noticeable. Outside of basic gameplay things, bosses return and they are very similar to how they typically are, just in 3D. I think you see a pattern with the game. The mid-bosses are fun, some even putting your Kirbying to the test, and the world bosses, the fabled hip-hop supergroup known formerly as the Beast Pack, can be challenging your first time around. Mid-bosses offer themselves as copy abilities after defeating them, like usual, and the world bosses offer challenges and Waddle Dees to encourage replays. On the subject of replays, when you complete a stage, one of the hidden objectives will be revealed, potentially pointing you in the direction of a secret you missed, which is a smart idea and can make replaying stages for the completion more enjoyable. The big new gimmick here, however, is the hilariously poorly named Mouthful mode, where Kirby stretches himself over a large object and then manipulates them. In concept, it's silly and weird, and some might see it as horrific, but in practice it's just an inanimate version of Super Mario Odyssey's capture mechanic, only it's used much more sparingly here. You may control a car, a set of stairs, a ring that lets Kirby blow air, and more, and all are used for puzzles, and that is it. They make up a portion of the stage, not the entire stage like most of Mario Odyssey's capture mechanics did, which is much appreciated. These and your copy abilities are put to the test in the treasure roads, showing just what you can do with these abilities. Aside from the horrible, even if accurate name, Mouthful mode adds a bit of much appreciated variety to the stages. In the end, Kirby's transition to 3D is enjoyable. Extremely enjoyable, and I hope this is a sign of things to come for the Pink Puffball. Now isn't this a surprise? Kirby is not only fun in his first proper 3D outing, but he is also looking mighty swell as well. The textures, lighting, and art direction all shine here, lending a lot of charm to the abandoned world Kirby is now in. The enemies are adorable and cute, making it even harder to stomach that you need to devour them or murder them. Kirby's animations are as adorable as ever, and there is just so much life to be found wherever something is on screen. That's not to mention just how nice the destroyed cityscape looks with the fantasy Kirby elements tossed in. This mixing of real life and Kirby makes for an interesting looking environment that somehow seems like it's natural as a Kirby sleeve over a car or a set of stairs can seem anyway. Mouthful mode can make things a little more awkward than they have to be, but it doesn't change the fact that the game is gorgeous. Each world has its own sights to see. On the audio side of things, the game fares much the same way. The music is enjoyable and the sound effects are classic Kirby. There isn't much more to say about it than that. Kirby's finally reached the current gen with most of Nintendo's greats, and it's fabulous. Now, I don't really have much to say that's negative about the game, other than the game is a spring breeze. Of course, there isn't much to expect from a Kirby game difficulty-wise, they are always easy. Still, it is a thing, and mixed with the lack of copy abilities means the game isn't perfect, but it is damn well close to it. That's all I have to say in this matter, other than co-op being significantly less Kirby. I am not really joking when I say this, but this is probably the best Kirby game to me. Or tied for best. It's incredibly fun and is very similar to one of my favorite Mario games, so it's hard for me not to love it. It's fairly challengeless, but Kirby really doesn't need that. I play Kirby games to calm down, not to have the most intense gaming experiences of my life. This isn't Dark Souls, it's goddamn Kirby. The transition to 3D, on top of the amazingly fun gameplay and beautiful visuals, leads this to finally be the forward progression Kirby needed for a long time, and it does not disappoint. Kirby's still Kirby, even in 3D, and his fluffy cute persona and world made the transition flawlessly. It's good to see that Kirby still got it, as many people were concerned with some of his most recent performances, though some were concerned since nothing was able to top Superstar. Nevertheless, Kirby inhaled his very own 10 out of 10. It's good to see Kirby enter the modern era of gaming. Took you long enough, buddy. Now if only we can get Ness to join us at the 3D table, then we'll be eating well, won't we?